Don't you love it when a new month is about to start and you're busy setting up your bullet journal or your planner or a reading journal like I am doing now? Hi guys, it's Dragana from Dragana's Crafts and welcome back to another reading journal video. In this video, we'll be setting up the pages for all the books I have read in May, though there weren't that many of them, I'm afraid. And towards the end of the video, I'll be setting up June pages. Also, everything I'm using in this video I'll link in the description box below, and if there are items that are not available anymore, I'll mention that too. The first spread I'm setting up is for the Page Mages book club held by Aaron Smith over on Discord. I've been really excited about this book because I'm a member of a book club for the first time in my life. The book that was chosen for May was The Cat Who Caught a Killer. If I would choose one word that would describe this book, it would be that the book is, well, bad. When I started reading it, I got curious about the idea of Conrad the calico cat who talks, so I read the book in one morning. He appears in front of a woman called Lulu, a retired police officer living on a boat. They go to visit her mother-in-law Emily in a nursing home, and apart from suffering from Alzheimer's, Emily seems completely healthy. Conrad explains to Lulu that cats can see humans' aura, and Emily's seemed perfectly healthy. Unfortunately, the next day when they go to visit her again, Lulu finds out that Emily passed away during the night and gets suspicious thanks to her detective instinct, so she and Conrad start investigating. Why I said that the book is bad? Well, the writing style is quite poor, the plot is rather predictable, and if I would have read this book any other time, I would have probably left it unfinished. It's a shame, really. The book had potential. It could have had potential, only if the author had a bit more imagination. At least I got the excuse to use the cute kitty washi tapes from Every Minute a Story. On the right side of this spread, I drew paw prints and put down the washi tape from Every Minute a Story, and I also wrote down the questions that were posted over on Discord when they had their discussion about the book. I couldn't join the discussion because it was a bit too late for me and I was too tired, but nonetheless I decided to write down the questions and answer them as best as possible. The left side of the spread I used to write down the summary of the book and additional opinions I had about it, and also for my co-pile rating system and some information about the book, like the number of the pages, the genre, the format that I've been reading, and so on. next two books I set up the spread for I have enjoyed very much. The first was One Dark Window by Rachel Gillick and Can't Fear Your Own World by Tite Kubo. To create the spread, I used the scrapbook paper that I had lying around. I tore off the edges of the paper to fit the corners of each page in my reading journal, and on top of them I pasted the gorgeous black roses that come from the washi tape shop. The black roses are actually a pet tape, not stickers, but I cut them out beforehand so that you didn't have to watch me cutting out pet tape. One Dark Window is book one in the Shepherd King duology. The book really captivated me and I had to keep on reading it till I finished it. So I ended up going to bed at 2 a.m. and I felt like a wreck the next day. But it was worth it. I finished the book and I really loved it. The genre of the book is gothic fantasy romance, I would say. The protagonist of the book is a maiden, Elspeth Spindle, a girl who lives in a mist-locked kingdom of Blunder. The people in that kingdom are afraid of those who were born with magic. The magic manifests in children who catch a fever which develops into an infection, and by law of that land, they all must be killed. Elspeth is one of those children, though her aunt helped her hide and she survived. All her life, our heroine has been hiding in her aunt's house, and over time she learned how to be unnoticeable when she is among other people. Inside of her lives a monster that she calls the Nightmare, who protects her throughout the book. However, as the book often reminds us, nothing comes for free, especially not magic, and every time Elspeth asks the Nightmare to help her, she's closer and closer to facing the consequences. When Elspeth meets a mysterious highwayman, her life takes a drastic turn, and soon she becomes a member of a group that wants to change the fate of magical people and lift the mist. The characters are versatile and interesting in their own way. The romantic elements seem to be a bit rushed, but the book has a lot of potential and I can't wait to read the second one. Can't Fear Your Own World 2 is the second novel that follows life in Soul Society after the war between Shinigami, who are death gods and they live in Soul Society, and Quincy's, who are human and they have superpowers, so to speak, who wanted to destroy the Shinigami due to the events that happened far back in the past. The book continues where the previous one left off. We have Hisagi Shuhei, he's a Shinigami and a vice captain of Squad 9. He continues his investigation about the Tsunayashiro noble family as well as the events that happened in the Palace of the Soul King during the war with Quincy's. He goes to the human world to interview Urahara Kisuke, who is a former Shinigami who currently lives among the humans and owns a candy shop. Urahara skillfully evades Hisagi's questions, but their interview is interrupted when they get attacked by a new leader of Execution. Now, Execution is a group also of humans that also has supernatural powers, but they're different from Quincy's. In the meantime, in Soul Society, fighting breaks out between Shinigami, Arankars, and Quincy's. Now, Arankars are former humans. Those are people who died and who couldn't pass on to Soul Society, so they get turned into hollows, and through evolution, they can become intelligent and they turn into Arankars or Vestal Lords, or actually Arankars. Doesn't matter, there are too many names. If you haven't watched Bleach before, then all these names would just confuse you. But as you progress through the book, you realize that every event that's occurring has been planned out by Tokinada Tsuneyashiro, who is a former Shinigami and the new head of the Tsuneyashiro noble family. All his actions are full of malice, and we get to know that he has no reason to be evil, except that he enjoys it. To quote the second movie from Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy, some people just want to see the world burn, and Tokinada is definitely one of those people. I gave this book 5 stars because I enjoyed every aspect of it, and I've been a fan of Bleach series for years. This book gives us more details of the present and the past as well. Those of you who have read Bleach or watched the anime, I highly recommend Can't Fear Your Own World books. Those of you who haven't, if you like anime, go watch Bleach and then read these books. At this point, I realized that I haven't filled out the reading progress calendar of May, so I quickly switched over to that. As you can see, all 5 books that I've read in May, I have read in the last week. I can only imagine how many books I would have read if I had started reading at the beginning of the month, but I've been too busy to read, and at least I read 4 out of 5 books that I have enjoyed a lot. In my Google Readathon books list page, I'm marking the books I have read and adding the points that each book carries. The Google Readathon was organized by Jess or Jessie Curran, and I was really excited to participate in it. In the end, even though I didn't read that many books, I still enjoyed setting up the spreads for the challenge, and also now I have a pretty big list of the potential books I could read in the months to come. So thank you, Jess, for organizing this challenge. I hope there will be more in the future. The blank page, as you can see, with which I didn't know what to do, so I put down the gorgeous washi tape from the washi tape shop, and on top of that a piece of vellum from Sterling Ink's May subscription kit. So now that the page is not empty, it looks nice and it fits the theme throughout the month of May, because for the setup I used the subscription kit from Sterling Ink. last spread I'm setting up for the month of May are the last two books that I've read. Both are from Lucy Maud Montgomery, and you probably know them or heard of them, Anne of Green Gables and Anne of Avonlea. To create this spread, I used the floral washi tape that has this gorgeous golden shine to it, and on top of those strips of washi, I pasted the book covers as well as girl stickers from the Harriet Wright Designs and some other nature-related stickers from the same shop. I was so happy to find these two girls among my stash because our heroine Anne is a red-haired girl and her best friend Diana has black hair. I think all the decoration I used in this spread fit together nicely, and I'm quite happy how this spread turned out. Anne of Green Gables is a historical fiction about an orphan girl, Anne Shirley, who gets adopted by unmarried siblings Matthew and Marilla Cuthbert. At first, the Cuthberts wanted the boy to help Matthew with their farm at Green Gables, their home, but throughout a misunderstanding they get a girl instead and decide to keep her with them. The book follows Anne adjusting to life at Green Gables, in the town Avonlea on the Prince Edward Island. She is a talkative girl, full of imagination, often daydreaming, and very prone to troubles because of her nature. Soon after she starts living at Green Gables, she develops a friendship with Diana Barry, whom she calls her bosom friend. She is a girl from a wealthy family who lives close by. As she starts going to school in Avonlea, Anne soon starts excelling at her studies and develops a rivalry with another classmate, Gilbert Blythe. She starts hating him, and she hates him throughout the majority of the book because he teased her about her red hair, though by the end of the book they become best friends. We see Anne's transformation from a girl whose head was always in the clouds to a 17-year-old who had to mature a bit too fast to her liking due to some tragic events, though her spirit still remains the same. I would recommend this book to anyone, regardless of the age, because this is the type of book you will read with a smile on your face. Anne of Avonlea is the second book in the series about the orphan girl Anne Shirley. The book continues where Anne of Green Gables stopped. Anne is about to start teaching at Avonlea School, although she plans to continue studying at home with Gilbert. He is also a teacher at White Sands School. This book soon introduces Anne's new problematic neighbor Mr. Harrison and his foul-mouthed parrot Ginger, as well as the twins Davy and Dora, who are the children of Marilla's third cousin. When Marilla's cousin passes away, Anne and Marilla take the twins in and take care of them. Towards the end of the book, something happens that allows Anne to pursue her dream in obtaining further education at Redmond College. The book sees Anne maturing slightly, even though she still cannot avoid getting into a number of troubles that are typical for her character and nature. One of the examples is she rubbed her nose red with an ointment that was supposed to remove her freckles, which of course didn't happen. Her nose just turned very, very red, and that happened right about when she was to meet a famous author she admired. If you read the first book and you liked it, this one is a must then. I will certainly continue reading all the books in the series over time, and hopefully I'll read everything this year. After completing the spreads of all the books I've read, I went back to the reading stats page. So, books read 5, pages read 1,829, average rating 4.25 or 4 stars and a quarter, genres read mystery, fantasy, adventure, historical fiction, and as for the format, 4 out of 5 were ebooks and 1 was a physical book. Compared to the previous month where I read 7 physical books, this time I read more in the ebook format, and I must say I'm not that against it anymore. I still prefer to hold the book in my hand when I read, but with all the books I want to read, it will be impossible for me to buy them all. I won't have space to store them. As for the book of the month, that ended up being Can't Fear Your Own World 2. Unfortunately, I'm out of sprocket paper and I didn't think to print it on sticker paper beforehand, so for now it will remain blank on the page. Before setting up June pages, I went back to the beginning of the journal to fill out books read spread. Then on the goal page, I colored in 5 squares representing the books I read in May, and lastly I filled in my series tracker page. I also added the Shepherd King duology, though if I am to add any more series to this page, I'll need to tip in an extra paper because I don't have any space left. We'll see in the future months. And this is the flip through of May spreads. I love how they turned out, though I wish I read more. At least I read interesting books, even if there were too little of them. As for June spreads, I kept them rather simple. For the cover page, I cut down this gorgeous vellum from sterling ink to size and placed on top of it June calendar sticker that came in with the subscription. I don't really need a calendar there, but it looked pleasing to the eye. Next to the cover page, I set up the reading stats page and below the book of the month. I kept the decoration rather simple. I just placed 2 die-cut stickers from the Sterling Ink June subscription kit and drew a frame around them. I lettered in the title with Tombow Dual pen, and with the green brush I made a couple of swatches where my stats will go. Then I lettered in Book of the Month, added a couple of more stickers, and the spread was complete. Next page that I set up was the reading progress. After making a swatch with the Tombow pen on the top and the bottom of the page and lettering in the title, I drew out June calendar, where I'll mark the start and the end date of every book I will be reading in June. This page might not seem all that useful, but to me it is. I like the visual representation of all the books read and how long it took me to read them. page in the setup is made in a similar style as the one next to it. It's sort of a TBR, though I named it Books of June, and I placed down the book covers of 5 books I would like to read for sure in June. I kept the decoration rather simple. On top and the bottom of the page, I smudged the green Tombow pen, and I just added 2 stickers from the Sterling ink kit that I've been using in this setup, and then the book covers below the title. One of the books is for the Page Mages book club, but I didn't want to set up the spread for that at this stage because I don't know when I'll read it. I'll set up that spread once I have read the book. This is it for now. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this long video, and thank you so much for your support. I'm ever so grateful for that. If you did like this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you subscribe, I'll be even more grateful. In that case, don't forget to hit the bell button so that you're notified of all the future videos I post. I'll see you soon again. Bye!